The Cyreal, eh?
Cool.
So, you feel me? And this how we doing it, man. We getting better each and every time, you feel me? Dropping a little bit of some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as we move along this world, you know? So, how everybody doing today, man? Put your comments in the chat. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We finna take y'all on a good ride. You know what I mean? But today, man, we gonna go back in history a little bit, just a tad bit, and we gonna look at our favorite person to review, Charleston White. Just see what he talking about. and I always like to review Charleston White because he's bold. He's bold and he's brave in combating the stupidity in black culture. You feel me? And that's why I always review him. And that's why we review certain things about black culture because we're highlighting the stupidity but evolving from it as well. Because you gotta know what to evolve from. Because sometimes you might not even think what you're doing is stupidity. You might think it's normal because that's what you were taught. You see what I'm saying? That's what you were taught. And just going off of that basic statement, Aku, you feel me? I got a clip, man. I got a clip about that's what you were taught. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't focus on what they necessarily should focus on, in my opinion. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. But somewhat, I agree to a degree.
Okay,
To a degree.
to a degree. Okay.
Yeah. Because they focus what they want to focus on, and like you say, sometimes we all get distracted on what's really is important. But who knows what's important to another person?
Well, that's true in some ways, but it's like to me, it's hold on, I gotta do this thing like this. So I gotta make sure I get it right. Anyhow, the Padres gonna see it. I don't care. But it's the fact that we just gotta make sure we understand the outcomes of situations. Like when we see an outcome, not the favorable outcome, we understand that okay, yeah, we probably shouldn't have did it that way. You feel me? We probably should have did it this way or you know, cause
Right. Right.
cause I mean we could, right? But it's not healthy for the development of the human race for us to just live in a culture where we can say like pretty much where we have no basic standard of operating as humanity. You see, so that's why I guess I say we give you recommendations on good basic standards to operate as humanity because we know what brings peace, right? And we understand what brings non-peace. So, what do you think, man? Because we could get to the clip right quick. My bad, I'm yawning on the thing. I know. I've been in the gym, bro. I've been in the gym. I've been trying to work out, man. Trying to get my body right. You feel me?
I hear you, bro. Yeah, if you don't get it right, ain't no one else is, bro.
Hello. Hello. That boy. Oh man. But sure, I'm gonna hit the clip though, bro. So we can go ahead and start this thing going. You feel me? Yeah, I'm
Go
gonna hit
ahead.
the clip.
I make fake content. I'm a social media influencer. I'm not delusional like people say.
Now put it on mute, please. Go.
That's weird. I showed her the videos. And we have a house. We live at Betty's house. We live at Betty's house. No, you ain't.
What?
Nanas, come here. Let me talk to my child. Back up, please. So I need to talk to my child about what's going on. They're trying to take you because you know mommy makes social media. Calm down. Tell mommy calm down. No, I'm not calming down. It's gonna be fine. Oh. It's gonna be fine. I know you learned that from your mom.
You learned that from your mom. Whoa.
If a man said these things I'm about to say, he'd be crucified. But I'm a woman, so let's talk. All you hear about is toxic masculinity, but what about toxic femininity? It gets glamorized. Modern feminism has taught women to be exactly everything that they hate in men: emotionally unavailable, selfish, prideful, lack of accountability. I mean, y'all already know accountability is like a woman's kryptonite, and I could say that wholeheartedly because I've been that woman. Men are taught, step up, be leaders, be men, be protectors, be providers. And then it's like women are told you deserve more, no matter how you act. I mean, we say we want accountability, unless it's only for men. And if the woman's the problem, we just call it trauma. Be patient with her. It's trauma. If a man is considered the problem, we call it abuse. Now, I'm not saying some of that is not true in some cases, so don't flip my word. And I'm sorry, ladies, but the toxic dating culture is not trash because of men. It's trash because people nowadays lack conviction, they lack integrity. I mean, y'all wanted equality until it came with consequences. Y'all have a blessed day. This is gay.
Unpopular opinion. Being a man has to be one of the most difficult things in this world, because when I hear some of the requests that women have and how they can contradict themselves, I get confused. It's like, I don't need you to be too sensitive, but how dare you not share your feelings and your emotions with me? I need you to be a good leader, but understand that I won't be following you and I won't be listening to you, and you can't lead me anywhere. But be a good leader. Be strong and show a level of vulnerability, but not too much, because then strength and vulnerability cannot coexist together, because now I'm going to think that you weak. I want you to be truthful and honest, but not too truthful to where you telling me the truth about me, and now I got to feel some type of way towards you, because you're supposed to be on my side at all points in times. Read my mind, but don't you dare assume that you know what I'm thinking. Meet my needs, even though I'm not going to tell you what my needs are all the time, but I expect for you to just know somehow. Be financially stable, but make sure you have a whole bunch of time, even though it takes time to make money. Now, when you hear some of these requests out loud and you see how they contradict themselves, don't it sound silly?
Silly as hell.
And wouldn't you be just as confused as he is?
So somehow every girl's ex-boyfriend was toxic and abusive because women are perfect, okay? She's over there sending flirty text messages to 6 other guys, but he's insecure, okay? She cheats, but it's because he never gave her any attention. You have 4 baby daddies, 4 kids, and none of them want anything to do with you, but somehow you're still not the problem. You guys have another boyfriend every 3 months. You don't need another boyfriend. You need God, okay? Like, you guys need to start taking accountability sometimes. Men can't even ask for a basic human decency like respect anymore, okay? If you've had 10 boyfriends in the last 10 years, I'm sure there's somewhere down the road you were the problem also, okay?
Real talk that. You feel me? And that's all it is, man. It's accepting accountability for your actions, and see the world. It's our fault too, because we gotta hold them accountable as well. That's why I keep on playing these videos, so all men can wake up and realize, hey, it ain't your fault, bro. They made you feel like that. It ain't your fault.
Thank you for telling me that, Cyreal.
I got your
I know
back.
it wasn't my fault.
I got
I know
your back. I got your back, Cuckoo. It's all good.
Why she do me like that? Why? Why she did me like that, Cool?
Hey there,
I bet
Delilah,
Cyreal.
right? Delilah is a beast. You feel me?
I'm only human. I'm only human, man. I'm only human.
Right? Lord.
Oh boy, nah, Cyreal. That's facts, bro. It's
They contradict and they confuse. They don't know. But not only them, it's a lot. It's just people in general. A lot of people in general are just confused.
No. We talking about the majority of women compared to the majority of men. Oh, it's
Yeah,
different. It's different.
it is a difference. It is a difference. It is a difference.
See, and the reason why it's different with men because men have to prove themselves. You feel me? It's never a point where you could contradict yourself too much because eventually you're gonna have to prove what you're saying. You're gonna have to prove you are who you are or you did what you did. You know what I mean? So it's like women don't ever get that stance of like, do you really do this or are you really this person? Because like one of the most worst things that happen to a man, bro, is to be with a woman who you think is innocent and not a hoe, and then come to find out not only is she a hoe, she be doing hoe shit, or is that she about to start doing hoe shit. So it's like that's one of the worst things to find out. So it's like if we hold them accountable, then they won't be able to hide behind that disguise of innocence. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to let
I
the
hear
world
you.
know, bro. They not innocent. Like Aku say a lot of times, they just like us. They want to fuck you. Oh, dang, I shouldn't use that word. They want to mess with you, and they want to mess with somebody else too. Probably three, four, five, six, seven of them at the same time, and it's easier for women to get it. So when a woman is like that, trust me, she finna get it. She finna have at least 500 dudes in 1 year. You feel me? You know, do the math. That means she tripling up a day. You feel me?
Uh,
'Cause
to
trust,
the max. To the max.
you feel me? Because you know, not to reveal too much of my past stuff, but I had accessibility as a man to women. You feel me? You know, because of my
What?
swagger and my looks. You know, I ain't want to brag too much. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to brag too much, but just based off of those things, I cool. You know, I had certain access to women, and basically they would I
Not
had the
you.
ability. I
Not
had the
you.
ability to have a different one every day, cool. But
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
do it every
not
day.
you.
No, no, I didn't do it. I had the ability to do it, but I cut one or two of them. You know how you somebody gonna catch
Not you.
you. Somebody gonna catch you when you weak, Aku.
Oh boy, I hear you, bro. Trust me, I hear you. All right,
You know that
all
type of
right.
way, Aku?
Oh,
No.
what?
Have you ever been caught weak
What you
before by
say?
a woman?
No, man, no, man. I'm too strong for that, man.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about. But I don't believe in no people just to let y'all know. But
I
but
wasn't weak.
but
If it was, it was a week. I
eh,
was a week.
right. You were strong in love. I feel you. I feel you, bro. It be like
You
that.
got that right. Love is the only solution.
Come on, to stop a revolution, yeah, something like that.
Yo, that's what it say. That's exactly how I go.
That's
Nah,
what's up.
man, never weak. We're always strong.
I feel that. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what the Padres do. We stay strong, man. You feel me? Integrity.
You gotta be strong, man. I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you fall weak. You
Yeah, I'll
know what
be
I'm
honest.
saying?
Once or twice, yeah, players fuck up too. Yeah, but we ain't gonna stay weak. That's the thing. We ain't gonna stay weak. You feel me? Cause see, and why I say that, Aku, is this: I was strong in my mind, and I was strong with what I was doing, but I didn't know I was in a weak situation. You see what I'm saying? So I had to strengthen up my situation. You did? That's how
I
I
hear
do.
you. I hear
You
you.
know.
I
But
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
and sometimes
I get what you're
you gotta tell, you gotta snitch, you gotta let the world know what's going on. You know what I mean? some people, and shout out to Charleston White, man, because he has made it a real component to say, you know what, I don't care, tell. My mama told me to tell. You feel me?
Man, y'all generation been on that. Let the world know.
Nah, I was thinking it was different. Now, cool. That's the problem. I was thinking nobody was saying nothing, so I was like not saying nothing either. And then I realized everybody singing like a canary.
Boy, you got that right.
So I was like, well, shit. Let me
Let-
let me sing my song then. Shit.
Me? Oh, boy. Me, I'ma stay strong. I ain't gonna sing. I might hum a little bit, but I ain't singing.
That shit, you hum your tune there. That's what's up. You hum it off, bro. I ain't mad at you. But sure, let me get into the clip though, bro. And I mean, my bad. Don't let me cut you. What you supposed to say?
Nah, go ahead. Nah, ain't nothing. Go ahead. You rock the clip.
Ready. With Charleston White, he and you telling us somebody again though. Would it be like that?
So, yeah, I got you.
I told her mama to leave me alone, but to get on her talking tough, barking loud, roaring like a lion, breathing fire like a fire-breathing dragon. So okay, I told her, leave it. I told y'all, get that boy. I begged Boosie, get that boy. Boosie wouldn't get him. Tootie, and soon as I got to Atlanta, I made sure Atlanta police kept an eye on him. Soon as I got to Atlanta, I made sure Atlanta Police Department kept an eye on Tootie. I was in fear for my life. I told y'all, they got an eye on Woody too. And guess what they caught the boy with? Guess what they caught Tootie Raw? But they caught Tootie Booty Raw. And who they caught? To them they caught the boy with a pistol. They didn't just catch him with a regular pistol. They didn't just catch him with a regular pistol, boys and girls. They caught Tootie Raw with a switch. Oh, mother. Oh, they got Tootie Raw with a switch. Listen, y'all think I'm not. I swear to God. This is the honest to God truth. I had to put them laws. Anybody threaten me, I'm calling the police. I'm gonna go out my way to put the police on me if you threaten me, because I am scared. Once you saw what's coming to me, oh, I would be scared like, man, I got business. I got business to do. And why would Tootie think he can't wait to see me, knowing I'm coming to another? Knowing I'm coming to another. You waiting to see who, boy? Okay. Detective, gang unit, 911, Fulton County Police Prosecutor's Office. Somebody help me. Y'all I've been doing philanthropy work in this city forever. At least for forever. Please get something. They got that little boy off me. Tootie in jail. And I just want to boost it. Boost it. The boy is just, can you stop this over? Boost it. Listen, now I know you're not the type of nigga to tell on nobody. But them people, when they come talk to Tootie, they want to know where Tootie got that switch from. How did he get the Glock switch on that thing? I heard that's what I heard about it. That's what I heard about it. I heard the people on their way.
Oh man. Cool. They messed up, man. So basically, what it sound like is Charleston White done caught Boosie's son, Lil Tootie. Nah, he didn't caught him. He said the police caught him, bro. The police caught him. You feel me? The police caught him with a pistol that had a switch on it. You feel me? And Charleston White said, look, man, if you gonna threaten my life, I'm calling the cops. Like, and I like that, bro, because it's like, y'all boys big and bad and want to come and kill each other, right? Come and kill your fellow black brother, right? But the second the cop get involved, you get all scared and stuff. You scared of that white man. You feel me? So it's like, man, leave each other alone, man. Like, Boosie, Lil Tootie, like, come on, bro. Like, what y'all doing? Like, Boosie, you know better. You done been in jail for a long time. Possibly was not finna get out, man. Come on now. Like, you know better, bro. Come on. It's time to wake up. It's time to grow up. It's time to be more mature and install some respect in the kids, bro. Because, like, how can he think that's okay? Either because of your music or people around him or whatever. He think it's okay to bring a switch around and go, you know, allegedly. You feel me?
It
Because
was no problem when your mama and your grandma used to get a switch for you and tear your ass up.
that's a different type of switch, Uncle. Oh boy, you funny, Uncle. That's a different type of switcheroo there, boy. No, no, no. That's a good switch, though. That's the one. That's the one they probably should have got, but didn't get. And I ain't gonna lie, I think Boosie
Nah,
used to get a switch though. Boosie just a badass little dude. You could tell he was.
nah, but your boy Bootsy said he don't want no smoke from Charleston White.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He don't, and he really don't say his name no more. But the thing is that, and the reason why Boosie don't want no smoke from him is because he called them cops. He called them that white boy on him, boy. Boosie scared of that. That system ain't nothing to play with. That's a system. You feel me? Okay, y'all think it's a game. And that's why we have to like eradicate the bad behaviors amongst our culture so we can create a financial system, bro. At least a financial system to give us some type of how can I say understanding of how to live as a community, bro. Cause like we not even living like a normal community, bro. That's why they be studying us. People don't understand it. That's why black community always got these experiments being done on them. And I think even the way that our community now is an experiment. Now, did the experiment go good, bad, or right? I don't know. But I feel like it definitely was an experiment, Aku. You know what I mean? Okay. You good,
That shit
bro?
the same. I'm good. You should be asking that dude over there. Is he good?
Oh, okay. I don't know if he coming at you or not. You mean he probably
No way. You should. Anyhow, keep going.
I feel you, Uncle. I feel you. Uncle say he know kung fu. Stop playing with him. I want a tree and a two. But
It's all
no,
that.
no,
But
no.
he said he don't want no play because Charleston White is like you say, Charleston White is called the police and stuff on him,
Wait,
on people and stuff like that. Yeah,
and I
he
don't
don't
blame
play.
him. I don't blame him, bro. Cause like Charleston White said, I got things to do, bro. I got meetings to meet. You know I'm coming in Atlanta. You waiting on me? Like, no, bro. I ain't finna walk around and be afraid. And see, to be one thing if they caught the boy and he ain't had nothing on him, right? That'd be one thing. But bro, you caught him and he got a switch on him, and you already verbally said that you was gonna hurt somebody. Like, see,
Yeah,
and these young boys, they gonna do it, bro. They gonna do it because they want that popularity. It's like a lot of them itching for a body from that mind state. Now on the
they
other
do
end,
anything for clout.
right? But I must give thanks to the younger generation and say that that percentage is getting smaller and smaller, bro. Like that percentage of people that want to commit violence just because is getting smaller and smaller in their generation. I ain't gonna lie, our generation, we kind of just we make it go up fast
To the gates.
to the whoop de whoops, yeah. Shoot, let me let this next clip play there. You give me
All
some minute, we
right.
finna run. Alright, best. Be the best.
It's no coincidence that whenever in 1867, 2 years up from slavery, when in the halls of Congress, when they began to discuss whether or not they were going to allow black people to go to colleges and universities. The ruling on the floor was, we'll let them go to colleges and universities, but they can't come to ours. And when they go to theirs, any black college, there's 3 sciences that must never be taught to these slaves: the science of finance, the science of warfare, and the science of mating.
Watch the full interview with Brother Nuri Muhammad now at INeverKnewTV.com. Now, I've heard 30 second pleasure could destroy a life, right? But it
can continue where you have generations of children and parents. The unfortunate reality about us, I just read a study the other day where they said it's not just for black people, but the American people, 94% of American people have never read a book since they got out of high school.
I believe it.
Think about that. So if we're not reading, where are we learning from? See, one of the other things that was established in education, they say that the formula for learning is CORE, C-O-R-E as an acronym. It stands for communication, observation, reading, and experimentation. The primary form of learning, if you're not going to read, is communicating with other people, observing other people, and experimenting with what you observe. So if we're learning only from what we see other people do, and our family is the one we see the most, whatever you feed the mind the most is what wins. If I'm Johnson and that Johnson and that Johnson and that Johnson, we always had a lot of women. You know, that's just what we did. We always, see that's being loyal to a negative habit. So in that sense,
He laid it out for real, nah, for real. And that's what I'm speaking to, is that when we be loyal to these bad habits, man, what do we expect to get out of it? Nothing but badness. That's why, like, I know Akume mentioned sometimes that people have the right to do what they want to do, and that is true. But we do know that certain things you do have a good outcome, certain things you do have a bad outcome. And you know, it's like we gotta unlearn the habits of bad outcomes and what makes it bad for us. Because like the brother said, they didn't teach us the war of science, the knowledge, the science of war, the science of finances, and the science of sex. That's one thing they didn't teach us, so they could muddy up the waters. And then when all the universities become integrated, they took it out of all the universities, you see. So that's kind of where it's at today. But we're going to speed run through the clip because battery running low. You feel me? We got to do what we got to do. You feel me? I'm going to get to this next clip. You know what I mean? That's it. Y'all start. That's it.
Photos of Beyonce donning a Buffalo Soldiers t-shirt during her cowboy.
You can say what you got to say, Cool. What's up?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, he, like I always say, we just like what they say when they try to say people are just like monkeys, bro. What we see, what we is what we imitate.
Monkey see, monkey
you know?
do.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's what we are. It's sad to say, but in the way we are, because like you said, a lot of us don't really read books, so we learn off our vision.
Yes.
A lot of people are vision learners. Even if you do read a book, some people don't get comprehended until either they do it hands on or they visualize and see it being done.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah. Because just like how you have love languages, you have learning languages. Like everybody learn differently. That's correct.
Right.
That's real, bro.
Yeah. But you can keep it going though.
Okay.
Whenever you get a chance.
Okay, we're gonna run the next clip. Then. But yeah, though, the cool is right, man, and that's exactly why we say what we say, man. And that's exactly why we would like you guys to like, comment, subscribe, but more importantly, share the content, because a lot of people not reading no more. So a lot of times it's the only way they're gonna learn. You see what I'm saying? I used to think that everybody knew what I knew. That was me being foolish, dumb, and ignorant. Now I've learned better, so now I want to share the few things that I know and possibility that people could share what they know, and I could get smarter, and they could get smarter, and we all could be smart people. You feel me? So let me get to the next clip though. This is the clip about the Buffalo Soldiers.
Who's the Grammy winner of military propaganda and glorifying genocide against Native Americans. The controversy centered around the language on the back of the t-shirt, which explicitly stated that the Buffalo Soldiers' antagonists were enemies of peace, order, and settlement, warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. Many were quick to highlight the deeply paradoxical and controversial role black regiments played in the United States westward expansion. Yet the difficult truth is that the Buffalo Soldiers were a paradox. They were men who fought bravely and made significant contributions to a country that often treated them like less than human. So today, join us while we tell the real story of the Buffalo Soldiers. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. I also have a Substack. I would love to see you there. We also have a podcast. You can find. Let's get started. So, who are the Buffalo Soldiers? Well, let's rewind back to 1866 and the end of the Civil War. The South is in ruins. Over 4 million newly freed African Americans are trying to find their place in a country that had mostly seen them as outsiders. Then Congress does something different. They form the first peacetime all-black Army regiment, the 9th and 10th Cavalry, and the 24th and 25th Infantry. For a lot of black men, especially those who had been freed or who had fought for the Union, the Army offered steady pay, chance to learn, and maybe some respect in a world where separate but equal was the rule. The catch? Respect was rare, and inside the Army, racism was everywhere. Mostly white officers wanted nothing to do with black regiments. Some would take demotions rather than leave them. Officers who did stay often wanted quick promotions rather than real change, which meant poor leadership and few role models. General Ulysses Grant had to remind his officers that they actually had to support their new troops, and no matter how hard they worked, black soldiers faced discrimination not just outside their ranks, but inside the chain of command from the top down. So, because of this, promotions for black soldiers were almost impossible. The Army capped their advancement, cementing their outsider status. Henry O. Flipper, the first black West Point graduate, remembered that during my 4 years in the academy, I never had the happiness of being invited to a cadet's quarters. Not once. I became a man of reserve because I could not be otherwise. This sense of isolation, of always having to prove yourself in institutions that were built to keep you out, followed Flipper and the Buffalo Soldiers wherever they went. And they went a lot of places, but mostly straight to the frontier, the Wild West. Their orders were to build forts and protect mail routes and settlers, and most faithfully fight in the Indian Wars. The United States wanted more land and more resources, and these troops became a tool for that expansion. So imagine you're a black soldier, newly freed from enslavement, and now you are enforcing the government's policies that push native people off their land. This is a twisted form of irony. One group who had just tasted freedom now caught up in someone else's fight for survival. And they did all of this with secondhand uniforms and leftover gear from the Civil War. Their horse and their saddles were falling apart. Commanding officers wrote angry letters about how their saddles barely filled their mounts and the broken equipment. Yes, the whole army had shortages after the Civil War, but black regiments were the last of the last in line. In addition to all of this, they were sent to the toughest, most isolated frontier posts because white communities didn't want to see black soldiers around. So Loneliness, prejudice, and violence from the locals became a daily occurrence. Texas was especially harsh. Black soldiers survived deadly attacks and were often blamed for the trouble, sometimes unfairly, and many of them were court martialed for it. Despite all of this, they got the job done. They fought hard against the Mexican border raids in tough terrain, deep prejudice. The name Buffalo Soldiers was a name they earned. Maybe it was because of their hair, maybe it was because of their bison coats or their fighting spirit, but the name stuck and the soldiers wore it with pride. The phrase Buffalo Soldiers would later become a generic term for all black soldiers and is now used for Army regiments who can trace their direct lineage back to black regiments formed in 1866. But the Buffalo Soldiers story isn't just about fighting. It's about perseverance. The Army made their lives very difficult, giving them worn out gear, assigning them the toughest, loneliest posts scattered from Texas to Montana. Many communities, especially after the end of Reconstruction in the South, pushed to keep black people, especially those in uniforms, far away, fearing that they would disrupt the racial order. So when they were sent to isolated, sometimes perilous regions, sometimes facing hostility from the white settlers who saw them as enemies that they were opposed to fight, the Buffalo Soldiers stuck it out, and these regiments earned over 20 medals of honor, an extraordinary achievement despite everything that was stacked against them. So when Americans started protecting wild spaces, the Buffalo Soldiers were among the very first park rangers at Yosemite, Sequoia, and what is now Kings Canyon. They built trails, they stopped poachers, they fought wildfires, and became the pioneering stewards of our national parks years before the National Park Service was even founded. Captain James Young, who became the first black superintendent over a national park, would state, "Thank God I'm able to say that I am a soldier and a man, and that I am able to render a service to my country, and that the cause of which is never dead, the cause of right and humanity." But their contributions to this country did not shield them from injustice. Coming home meant fighting Jim Crow and rising violence against black veterans. The Red Summer of 1919 saw black.
But yeah, though, man, that's terrible, man. To be some of the most decorated soldiers and be the reason, pretty much doing all of the work that all the soldiers didn't want to do, um, and to come back and be treated by the Jim Crow situation, and everybody know how that was. Terrible. You feel me? That was a terrible, terrible situation. But that's how it be sometimes, man. A cool seemed like his phone dropped out on him, but we appreciate Aku for dropping in, keeping the episode true to Aku and Cyreal, you feel me? But now it's time for me to fly the plane. I got y'all, don't worry, you're in good hands. But this ain't all state. This is Cyreal and Aku show, you feel me? But yeah, so that's how I go, man. It's just that we basically understand the plight that they go through just because the extra layer of racism that's put on the whole situation. Like it makes everything much more tougher. It makes everything much more harder to do. So it's like we give more respect and more shout out to them because they went through everything that a soldier normally goes through, plus the added factor of dealing with that whole, we don't like black people situation. You feel me? And that's a strong truth, man. And I appreciate them for actually. I thank them for their service beyond words can say, man, because they made it so everybody who are dark skinned could join the military, and they were the first like examples to show that hey, we are extraordinary soldiers beyond measure. So the fact that even with all this other stuff we face, we still gonna do our thing. And then not just him, all the other black soldiers that came afterwards, man. We have a strong legacy of black soldiers doing the right things at the right time, all the time. You see me? So that's a great message that I appreciate them sending. And but I pray that they didn't have to go through. I wish they didn't have to go through what they went through, but You know, they say all wishes don't come true, man. You know, so that's how you know the. But let's see the black preacher that terrified America racist. Let's see what that's about, man. What? Let's check that out.
The year is 1865. The Civil War is over, but for black people in the South, the nightmare is just beginning. Masked riders gallop through the night, burning crosses and homes. Newly freed families huddle in terror as white robes and pointed hoods bring death to their doorsteps. Former enslaved people who dare to vote are found hanging from trees the next morning. The federal government promises protection,
but their soldiers are scattered and outnumbered. Local sheriffs look the other way when they're not wearing the masks themselves. 4 million people have been declared free on paper, but freedom feels like a cruel joke when it comes with a noose around your neck. Black communities are isolated, terrorized, and defenseless. But then, a preacher from New Jersey steps off a boat in Georgia. His name is Tunis Campbell, and he's about to become every racist's worst nightmare. This man doesn't just bring hope. He brings organization, economic power, and a 300-strong militia ready to fight back. The terrorists thought they could break black spirits through fear. They were about to learn what real fear looked like. But let's rewind to where this legend began. April 1st, 1812, Middlebrook, New Jersey. While most black children in America were being born into chains, Tunis Gulick Campbell entered the world as one of 10 children born to free black parents. His father, John Campbell, was a blacksmith with calloused hands and an unshakable belief that freedom meant absolutely nothing without education. This man understood something that would make racists furious, that knowledge was the real key to power. When Tunis was just 5 years old, something extraordinary happened. A white friend of the family, and yes, they existed even back then, helped place this little black boy into an all-white Episcopal school in Babylon, New York. Think about that for a second. In 1817, while other black children were forbidden from even learning to read, this kid was sitting in classrooms with white students, absorbing the same knowledge, breathing the same air, proving every single day that the only difference between black and white children was opportunity. The irony is absolutely delicious. These white folks were literally training the very man who would become their worst nightmare. By the way, if you've enjoyed the content you've seen so far, go ahead and subscribe to the channel.
This young man was too smart to fall for their game.
See, the ACS had a slick little scheme going. They figured if they could convince free black people to pack up and move to Africa, they could keep slavery nice and comfortable for white folks back home, ship away the free blacks, and the enslaved ones would have no one to look up to, no one to inspire them. But Tunis Campbell wasn't having any of that nonsense. At 18 years old, 18, this young man looked the American Colonization Society dead in the eye and said, "I will never leave this country until every slave is free on American soil." That's when America's racists should have started losing sleep, because they had just created their own monster. From 1832 to 1845, while he was busy dismantling slavery with his words, Campbell earned his living as a hotel steward in New York City. But this wasn't just any ordinary job. This man became the head waiter at the prestigious Howard Hotel. And what did he do with that position? He revolutionized the entire hospitality industry. Campbell created the first systematic training method for waiters in America. He developed signals, choreographed movements, and organized dining service like a military operation. Every server had a specific number of diners to serve. When he first introduced his system in 1837, white folks laughed at him. They literally laughed at this black man trying to tell them how to run their businesses better. But by 1848, those same white people were quietly adopting his methods and pretending they came up with them. Campbell was so confident in his system that he published it in a book called Hotel Keepers, Head Waiters, and Housekeepers Guide, the first book of its kind in America. But Campbell's real revolution was just getting started.
because while he was perfecting the art of service, he was also perfecting the art of resistance. And America's racists were about to find out just how dangerous an educated, organized, and fearless black man could be. Then came January 1st, 1863, the day that changed everything. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and suddenly 4 million enslaved people were legally free. But here's the thing about freedom on paper versus freedom in reality. There's a whole lot of space between them.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of space between them. It's correct. Thank you for the follow, bro. I appreciate it. I ain't even really heard it, man. But thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate that. You know what? Let me do my thing later. I'll do the widgets later. But yeah, bros, yeah, man. Thank y'all. But wow, that's a lot to take in, man. You know, and just knowing that it's a blessing, even the fact that they allowed him to go to that school, man. Just to know that he's the only black person, like, and to be real, like, he might not have been that dark skin of a black person either, to where he could probably pass in a certain light. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know, cause that's hard to believe that they allow him to go to school and everything like that. But you know, some people slip through the cracks, man. You know, there's some good people out there, despite the foolishness that takes place. They know it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. You could feel when it's wrong, man. It's like, it's an inherent feeling. Like, you ain't really gotta. That's why the world is one that police the world, because yeah, you might have one or two people that don't have feelings, that won't be able to tell that it's wrong. But the world would be able to tell, like, nah, bro, that's wrong, bro. I don't care. That just don't feel right. You feel me? That just don't feel right. So, yeah, that's how it go, man. Let's get back to the clip. Let's see what's going on.
Those two things. And that's where Tunis Campbell stepped in. Uncle Sam came knocking on his door with a proposition that would have terrified most people. They needed someone who could organize, someone who could lead, someone who could take thousands of newly freed people and help them build actual lives in a country that absolutely did not want them to succeed. They needed someone exactly like Tunis Campbell. He received a commission to help resettle black refugees in South Carolina. But let's be clear about what this really was. This wasn't charity work or some feel-good mission. This was nation building. This was taking people who had been treated as property and helping them become landowners, voters, and citizens. By March 1865, Campbell had become an agent with the Freedmen's Bureau, and his assignment was absolutely massive. Supervise the resettlement of approximately 1,000 newly freed people on 5 Georgia islands. But Campbell looked at this assignment and saw something the government officials probably didn't expect. He saw an opportunity to create something that would make those racist folk lose their minds: black economic power. See, President Andrew Johnson, who was about as sympathetic to black rights as a rattlesnake, had started pardoning ex-Confederate landowners left and right. These former slaveholders were coming back to reclaim the very land that black people had been promised. But Tunis Campbell was 10 steps ahead of that game. This brilliant man shrewdly purchased over 1,000 acres in Georgia's McIntosh County with his own money and resources. Then, he created an association of black landowners who would divide up parcels and profit from the land together. Campbell took the government's promise of 40 acres and a mule and turned it into a real estate empire run by and for black people. By 1868, Campbell and over 200 formerly enslaved people had created a thriving fishing and farming community on St. Catherine's Island. This was a self-sufficient black town with its own economy, its own leadership, and its own vision for the future. And at the center of it all was Tunis Campbell, the preacher turned revolutionary who understood that real freedom meant economic independence. The man who looked at Reconstruction and said, "We're not just rebuilding America, we're building it better." But if racists thought Campbell was done shocking them, they had another thing coming. Because this black preacher was about to enter the political arena and show them what real power looked like. While Campbell was building his black economic empire, he realized something crucial. Land ownership meant nothing if you couldn't protect it politically. So this man did what terrified racists more than anything else. He started registering black people to vote. Campbell traveled throughout southeastern Georgia with a simple but revolutionary message. You are free. You are citizens. And citizens vote. The response was incredible. Black people who had never been allowed to make decisions about their own bodies were suddenly lining up to make decisions about their government. And they weren't just voting for anyone. They were voting for Tunis Campbell. But here's what really made white racists panic. Campbell wasn't just participating in the political system. He was dominating it. As a state senator, Campbell introduced 15 bills aimed at advancing black rights. This man wasn't tiptoeing around white feelings or asking politely for crumbs. He was demanding the full meal. He fought for equal education because he knew that keeping black children ignorant was how the white elite stayed in power. He demanded integrated juries because all white juries weren't delivering justice. They were delivering lynchings with legal paperwork. Campbell pushed for voting protections at polling places because white terrorists were showing up to intimidate black voters with guns and ropes. He advocated for fair labor contracts because sharecropping was just slavery wearing a business suit. And when the Klan started terrorizing his community, this fearless man did something that took incredible courage. He testified against them to a congressional committee. Can you imagine? A black man in the 1860s sitting in front of white congressmen, describing in detail how this terrorist group was murdering and terrorizing black families. But Campbell wasn't just talking about the problem, he was solving it. He built a 300-strong African-American militia to protect his community from these racist attacks. While other black communities were being terrorized into submission, Campbell's people were armed and ready. The white folk in Georgia were watching this in absolute horror. Here was a black man who wasn't just demanding his rights, he was taking them. And he had the political power, economic resources, and military protection to back it up. But white America had seen enough. In 1868, after Campbell had been serving effectively in the Georgia Senate, his opponents made a move that perfectly captured their desperation and their racism. They voted that his skin color alone disqualified him from holding political office. Let that sink in. Not his qualifications, not his performance, not his character, his skin color. Most politicians would have quietly accepted this injustice and gone home. Most people would have recognized that they were outnumbered and outgunned. But Tunis Campbell wasn't most people. This man stood up in that Senate chamber, looked around at all those white faces twisted with hatred, saw their hands moving toward their weapons, and made a decision that defined his entire legacy. He started talking, and he didn't stop. For 7 consecutive days, Campbell held the floor of the Georgia Senate. 7 days with guns pointed at him. 7 days of racial slurs and death threats. 7 days of white senators losing their absolute minds because this black man refused to shut up and sit down. He wasn't just arguing for his right to hold office. He was arguing for the right of black people to exist as full human beings in America. After the 8th day, Campbell did something that showed his political genius. Instead of waiting for these racist senators to escalate to violence, he traveled to Washington, D.C. to petition the federal government. And it worked. Campbell was reinstated as a Georgia state senator with federal troops backing him up. Can you imagine the rage of those white Southerners? By 1872, white racists couldn't beat Campbell at the ballot box, so they changed the rules. They stripped him of his Senate seat through fraudulent elections filled with voter intimidation. But Campbell continued as justice of the peace, holding white people accountable for crimes against black people. When white landowners mistreated black workers, Campbell fined them. In 1876, Campbell defended black sailors being cheated by white ship owners in Darien, Georgia. That's when the trap was sprung. Campbell was arrested on trumped-up charges of malfeasance in office. Historians call what happened next a judicial lynching, using courts to destroy someone when you can't beat them any other way. This 64-year-old preacher was sentenced to 1 year of hard labor. His appeals to the governor and President Grant fell on deaf ears. Campbell spent 9 months in Savannah jail. 100 years later, Campbell had influenced the 15th Amendment protecting voting rights. Every black person who votes exercises rights. Campbell helped write into the Constitution. Every voter suppression tactic we see today, Campbell fought in the 1860s. Every attempt to deny black political power, he faced and overcame. Every excuse to criminalize black success, they used against him. Campbell's descendants still honor him with annual celebrations in Brunswick, Georgia. But his real descendants are every black person who refuses to accept limitations on their humanity. Tunis Campbell didn't just survive Reconstruction, he dominated it. While others were terrorized into silence, he built armies. While others begged for scraps, he created wealth and power. While others whispered, he roared for 7 days in the face of death. They could strip his Senate seat, but not his influence. They could chain gang him, but not his ideas. They could exile him from Georgia, but not his revolution from people's hearts. Campbell understood that the price of liberation is everything you have, and it's worth paying. Today, every black voter walks in Campbell's footsteps. Every black politician channels his spirit. Every activist demanding justice continues his revolution.
And that's what's up. Shout out to Campbell, man. See, it's good to learn about some of the people that paved the way, man, that did these things before. Like they say, you gotta know your history so that way you know where you're going. You feel me? But you know, like always, my partners, man, like, comment, and subscribe, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You feel me? Let everybody know we doing what we do, man. You feel me? We want y'all to keep in tune and keep on doing what y'all do, man. But until next time, man, we want y'all to keep y'all head up, never get fed up, whilst I do the same. One. Blessed, blessed, and